What is up, my fellow Sambarians? So, this was a Sambar that recently came in for service. It was a fresh import um, by Mitsui, and yeah, it had some leaky coolant pipes. So, it was overheating pretty much, you know, not instantly, but it would overheat because there's no coolant in it because the coolant pipes were leaking. So, along with that, the owner had me do a timing belt service, which is water pump and seals and all that fun stuff. Obviously, figuring out where the coolant leak was coming from and fixing it, which ended up being one of the coolant pipes. So, if you have a sandbar, you'll notice three metal pipes running the length of the car, and those will eventually rust out if not maintained properly. Mine, it just depends. Mine look brand new and it's old. Some look like they're 1,000 years old. It probably just depends on where that vehicle was from in Japan, whether they salted the roads or they lived by the ocean, where it always stayed wet. I don't know, stuff like that. So your coolant pipes could be perfect. Your coolant pipes could be on the brink of turning into flutes. So it's always good to just check that stuff. So anyways, had to replace that coolant pipe, which was a bit more tricky on the van than the truck. The truck has full access to everything. If you know your truck and you look at the bottom of your truck, you can see right through, right across the truck, right above the frame rail. You can see everything. It's daylight. On the van body comes down past the frame, so there's literally no access to anything above the frame. And that's where the pipes are. They're right above the frame. So you have to drop the gas tank on the van. You have to, in order to get the cross member off, you have to drop the gas tank. So it's a little bit trickier on the vans. It's very easy to do on the trucks. So if you're looking to do yours, just be ready. Drain that gas tank. Do it when the tank is empty, or drain it, obviously. But quite a bit of work to do that one. And then along with that, did a thermostat timing kit, flushed the fluid coolant because it was pretty rusty looking. And now we are clean green, so everything's happy. We're not overheating. And yeah, that allowed me to move on to some other fun stuff, which we did a special case exhaust. So I'll do a little sound showing of that so you can hear it. I did a steering wheel. I'll show that. I did front rotors and pads because the old ones were, I think they were at the minimum thickness and the pads were shot. Obviously did an oil change, air filter change. It looked like they had done a fuel pump and fuel filter in Japan fairly recently because it was like the only thing that was not rusty and it was clean, so it looked brand new. So we didn't do a fuel filter. It wasn't necessary. It didn't need it. But some stuff will come to my mind. Oh, and I did shift bushings. That helps tremendously with shifting. So if your shifter feels a little sloppy, there are two little bushings in there. I made a video on how to replace them. That is a night and day difference. Definitely made the shifting a lot better in this van by changing those two little bushings. Not even changing them, actually. You're installing them because they're probably gone. And if you do your bushings, you'll probably see remnants of a bushing that was once in there. It might just be like the flanged end of that bushing laying on top of the metal down below because it just disintegrated over time. So you might find remnants of old bushings, but most of the time there's nothing there and it's just metal on metal. So it's always good just to do those bushings. It's cheap, quick, easy job, and it changes the way the thing shifts right off the bat. Okay, let's go over some cool stuff on the van. This is a Sambar Classic. So Subaru made, different package deals or whatever on their Sambars. And the Classic was one where you got your classic front end, your round lights, the grille and stuff. So if you're a huge fan of the classic front end, you can still get these pieces in Japan, obviously used in Yahoo auctions. I think you can still find like these lights and these grills in auctions. So if you have the classic front end and it's looking pretty ratty, you can still replace a lot of these parts. You just have to look in Yahoo auctions. It is pricey to ship the front end over here, so just beware. It might be cheaper almost to buy it already on a car over there and have it shipped over here. But you can get classic front ends. It was an add-on. You take off your old front end and then you put this one on. Um, so that's kind of cool. It also has these cool chrome like window visors, and then the cool front visor on the windshield, which is pretty unique. All Subaru parts too, which is crazy. I've seen a couple of these pop up in auctions brand new. Um, Very pricey, like 300-400 bucks for that thing. But it was a Subaru part, genuine Subaru part. Um, but yeah, that's kind of cool, and it's got the California mirrors already, so you know it's all decked out and kind of funny. I put in a California Heritage like Momo steering wheel, and so it's kind of goes with the California mirror theme. But yeah, I have wood grain inside, so yeah, let's kind of show some up close shots of the van. So pretty crazy interior on this one. All these seats, all like, I don't know if that's real leather, probably not, but kind of cool. It's two-tone going on deal. It's obviously painted, but it's pretty cool looking. And we have the wood grain trim pieces for like the dash that you can still find in auctions. I've gotten quite a few of these. And then the double din trim, which is really cool. This lap piece, however, is actually it's harder to get than the cluster trim and way more expensive. I have not got one of these yet just because I can't come to spend 80 bucks on that piece of plastic. It's crazy, but very cool looking nonetheless. And then I put, for this customer, they had me install the Momo wood grain steering wheel, which they're quite a tall family, so they wanted some more leg room. So I made an entire video kind of going over like what's a good combination to get a lot of leg room. And so I went with the short hub adapter with the quick release on a flat wheel, and I've got like a good 4 or 5 inches between my leg and the steering wheel, so that gives you a lot of room. And then I don't know, maybe you're super giant, you can take the steering wheel off and get in and out if that's hard. But already has the cup holder, which is really cool. 4-wheel drive. Painted this. It's got the rear heater in here. It did have the second speaker over here, which is kind of rare. They don't usually come with 2 speakers. But yeah, this one has 2 speakers. So that looks really cool with the wood grain matching the trim, wood grain trim and stuff. There's the old steering wheel, just so they have it, just in case. Back seats of vans, they all fold down. We have, this one's cool. It's got armrests on both sides. Mine does not have that. That's kind of neat. There's your rear heater. Yeah, and if you're unaware how the seats work in the van, these seats fold down, and then this whole tray, this whole like this whole piece flips up. So then basically you have full access to everything back here because the seats are right here. I don't want to mess with a whole lot of stuff just in case it breaks. It's not mine. But yeah, they turned them into like cargo vans so you could carry a bunch. But there's a cool classic Diaz graphics on the side. Came with these cool looking wheels, little 13s. I did new rotors, Jokiko rotors from Japan, pit work pads up here. I don't remember if I said, but the old rotors were pretty much down to minimum thickness, and the pads were gone. So it's time for new rotors and pads. No tricks to that. Very easy to do. I made a video. Just make sure you inspect your sliders and boots and stuff and keep everything clean and grease stuff up if you need to. And here we go. So I did a Special K's muffler on this one. They really wanted to get rid of the old muffler, which, let's see it. Here's the old muffler, super rusted out. I couldn't even get like half of the bolts off. They just spun. This was rusted out. All the heat shields mangled trying to get them off. So yeah, that thing was wasted. So I'm glad she wanted to go with the special case. Also, I forgot, this one has the cool little side step for your passengers. So that was a thing that Subaru had. You see these pop up in auctions every once in a while. Cool little side steps. So let's check out the special K's muffler, and then I'll do a little sound bite of it. Here's the old exhaust manifold gasket. I'll just let them have that just in case. Just like the truck, you know, engine covers underneath the carpet in the back. Nothing special. I mean, this one's kind of special. It's got this checkered. This is obviously custom or something that they did. You just kind of cut to the edge of the board there. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Back here as well. Let's check out the and this is another thing I get asked too. How do you open up the back bumper on your van? You'd be surprised how many people ask, and that's okay. It's kind of confusing. You got your lever right here. You hit that and it's going to fall down. And that's as far as it'll go. It's kind of like a safety catch, like on a hood. Then you have to lift up. Just pull straight up and it will come out. There's just a show. It will hit that and then you have to lift up over that, so then it'll come down. So I cut off the stock shield because it was nasty and cracking, and they're usually all like that. Only one of the bolts, that one was already gone. That one down there I had to cut off, and I just cut it flush. But yeah, 5 of the 7 came out, which was surprising. Usually a lot less come out without a fight. But here's the special case muffler. So I do on my website say this is for truck only, and mainly because we had not done it for a van yet. But then it just kind of dawned on us, like, the exhaust for the vans and the truck are exactly the same. So there's no reason why this wouldn't fit the van. So with that being said, it does fit the van. I will change that on my website, that we can, in fact, still a little warm. We can, in fact, put these on the van. And you can see it's like perfect. Just right there at the bottom. It sounds really good. I got lifted up. And yeah, so she also had me do basic tune-up, which was cap, rotor, distributor cap seal, which is a big rubber O-ring. This one was kind of cool because this is very rare to see. There's actually a big rubber boot that goes over the cap and protects those screws, and I'm sure helps keep water from getting inside, but keeps those screws from rusting. I guarantee you, if that thing was not on there, those screws would have snapped inside that distributor like the last truck I was dealing with, because everything back here is so rusty. So rusty. So it would have been probably a nightmare. But since this little cap was on here, the screws came right out, no problem. So let's make sure, put that back. Or usually I think what happens is they probably do the tune-ups in Japan. They forget to put that thing on there and they throw them out, whatever. It shows up on parts diagrams. Can't buy it anymore. I'd never seen one until this van. I just, it was like a mythical part, and there it is. So yeah, did the NGK blue plug wires, did the Denso Iridium TTs, which I'm a huge fan of those ones now. I do love my NGK RX plugs, but I'm also digging the Denso TTs. I'm going to blow off everything so it's nice and clean back here, because I did some grinding and there's little shavings flowing everywhere. A little glitter bomb. I did do the valve adjustment, so 0.15 millimeter intake, 0.2 millimeter exhaust. Do it when it's cold. You're probably going to replace your valve cover gasket when you do that as well. New valve cover gasket. One of the bolts was bad, so I replaced it with a new one. I cleaned up the old ones so they look shiny. She's waiting on an oil cap from me. They want to do a blue one, so I'll put a blue OK Garage oil cap on there. It'll look pretty cool. I did take the valve cover and cleaned it as much as I could, but you can still see there's some crusting on it. So did pretty good over here, but there's just obviously a lot of salt or something corroding stuff. So just kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. But yeah, so did all that. Just kind of, inspected stuff. But other than that, the van is pretty good. Pretty good shape. So let's go ahead and do a sound bite of the exhaust so you guys can hear it. That sounds pretty good. It's not loud, it's not obnoxious. It's like just a good, easy tone. Kind of matches the classic look. Like it's not, it's not your Honda Civic, but it's also not your, extremely too quiet. Just kind of gives it a good, clean sound. And it looks really good if you look at the back. Like you just see that silver cut tube. So, good job, Special K's. Keep those mufflers coming, dude, because we got a lot of people who want them. But this one was imported by Mitsui. I'm not going to say anything bad about Mitsui, but just sometimes they have sent over some turds. But I've seen in the past month that Mitsui has been stepping up and sending parts to those who let them know that something was wrong. Actually, I got an email from a guy who was saying, I'm pretty sure I had a blown head gasket from a car he got from Mitsui. And Mitsui just, I don't think even said anything or argued with him about it. I mean, they talked to him about it, but they just sent him new parts. No questions asked, really. Just sent him new parts to fix his truck. So another buddy of mine, AA Ron, 3D printing guy, his was pretty bad. Needed bearings and oil pump and stuff. Sent him all new parts. And I also had told this person, the coolant pipe was leaking, see if they can fix it. So I'm not sure if they've done anything for her yet, but they're starting to kind of step up and help people out when there's an issue with a freshly imported car. So good for Mitsui for doing that and not just like, oh, sorry, it's a 25-year-old car. What do you expect? But if it was something that was clearly messed up in Japan and they sold it, and they shouldn't have sold it without disclosing that there was something wrong with it, they should try to fix it, in my opinion. I know I can't stress enough that they're 25-plus-year-old cars. There's going to be something wrong with them. But if it's something to the point where there's bad rod bearings and you got engine noise and stuff that they try to hide from you, or, they're just kind of sneaky about, that's not good business. But it's good business to help out those who are having problems with theirs and try to fix it. So that's awesome. So hopefully they reimburse her at least for that pipe that I had to put in here for her. They certainly don't need to send one because I already fixed it. But yeah, that's my rant on Mitsui. And not just Mitsui. Don't take that the wrong way. It can literally be anybody, not just Mitsui. Anyone who sells a K truck can hide stuff and just say, "Oh, too bad." But yeah, so keep that in mind if you're looking for something for Mitsui and you are concerned. I'm not saying they will every time, but it sounds like they'll most likely try to make it or fix it, so you're not stuck with a broken down car when it gets over here. But yeah, there's probably some other stuff I did I can't remember. It's usually how it works. There's too much going on here. I have very many cars I'm working on. I need to get to a few, some with overheating issues that's turning out to be a real nightmare to figure out. Got a couple freshly imported Actis that need service. Suzuki just came here for some work and some others, and just yeah, it's really busy. So I'll try to make some videos on other than just I think the last two were sandbars. So maybe I'll do one on an Acti next to kind of show you. Actually, I will because I just finished up an Acti. So I'll do an Acti one next, kind of show you that. It's fuel injected, so it's kind of cool. But cool. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you're waiting for me to respond to something, I'm sorry. Hang in there. I'll try to get to it. I'm just, you got to understand I'm one guy here trying to do everything. But if you do need parts and you shoot me an email, all that info is on my website, okgarage.com. I'll certainly do my best to help you out. And I really appreciate all your support and your patience along the lines with the Special K mufflers. I know if you watch this in a month from now, it's going to be irrelevant, but I'm going to try to have some of those up on the website soon. He sent me 4 and a couple half squids, which is cool. So if you've been waiting for a half squid, I'll have a couple of those up. So okgarage.com. Check it out. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I will see you on the next one.